Good morning, everybody. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about the insurance in the United States, and I'm doing a little bit of research, trying to figure out if health insurance is uh, uh, actually useful in the U.S. or is it just a scam? So if you ask people who are immigrants or who have lived at least a couple of years outside of the U.S., they will probably tell you that it's just a scam. But I just want to talk about my experience today, and then I don't think this video will be conclusive. I will be talking about my experience and from myself and my family, and then I will go on and do a little bit more research, and we'll talk about them in future videos. I'm trying to get to a conclusion here and to see what can be done really about this issue. So myself, I have insurance through my job, and my insurance is probably the best insurance in my state because I am employed by the largest, or probably the largest employer of my state, and I have I get very good insurance. And right now I have a high deductible plan, and I the kids are on my coverage. I pay, I don't know, just with the kids, I think I pay like, I think 60 or 70 bucks a paycheck. I don't know, maybe 120 bucks a month it becomes, something like that, right? Anyway, so it's it's in that range, right? That they pay, every paycheck or every month, right? Uh, so that's that. Now I figured out over the years that I usually use my benefits to have a doctor visit once a year. Essentially, I average one incident per year that I have to go to, let's say, urgent care to. The same thing with the kids. They usually average like one incident outside of their annual checkup. They average one incident, a year that needs a doctor visit. That's again one or a couple of visits. That's that's what it is. So every time you go to urgent care here, they charge you about 150 bucks, something like that. And uh, and When put together, all of the charges of these visits, uh, I can quickly see that I pay more towards the premium, even though I have a high deductible, low premium plan. I can easily see that I pay more towards the premium for me and my kids than what I get out of the insurance. And even though I don't meet the deductible and I have to pay, but I pay from the HSA, right? So I'm really not getting a lot out of it, right? Particularly, if I were to not have any insurance, right? If I had no insurance, if I would go to the doctor and just pay cash, right? The same urgent care clinic, it charges one third of the price. So instead of 150 bucks a visit, I will be paying only 50 bucks a visit. Okay, which by itself shows you how much burden and how much extra cost is added to your visits just due to insurance, just due to your provider having to deal with the insurance. Okay, and no, and it's no secret that doctors and clinics, they hate insurance companies, right? So I would be paying 50 bucks and without insurance, just with cash, and I would be essentially saving money, not paying the premium. Okay, so that's that. Uh, Now, you may say, "Oh, so these are just minor incidents, right? Just one visit to urgent clinic." How about if you have a major incident, right? Such as, let's say, pregnancy, that involves going to OBGYN for 9 months, and then towards the end it's a weekly basis, and then you have the delivery, and then recovery in the hospital for a day, a baby under monitoring for 24 hours. It's a deal, right? How about those kind of things, right? Like a major event, right? So for that, let's talk about my wife's experience. So for my wife, I got the best Medishare plan that is in the US. It's a very famous one. If you just Google it, you will easily find it. But just to give you a hint, it is for Christians. So I got this for my wife, and this company is very good. We had very good experience with them. I think everyone has, and you can clearly say that they are not geared towards profit only. They have very good staff, very prayerful. We like a lot of aspects of this company, and they are loved. They are really liked. We can tell that they are not charging, extra, or they're not trying, absolutely optimizing the premium so that they make, the maximum profit out of it. You can tell all of that by just interacting with this company. Now, this particular company, when I started from my wife in 2020, I think, so we had this company over 5 years, right? 2020 to 2025. So 5, maybe 6 years. When we started, we started with $170 a month, and I got the best plan, the gold plan, essentially, from my wife. So $170 a month. That was a premium, or the cost of whatever you call it. They don't call it premium. They call it, I don't know what, monthly contribution. Monthly contribution, because it's a Medishare plans, right? All right. So $170 was the contribution monthly. And then later, of course, with inflation after COVID, they increased it to like 200, 200, then 220, 230, 250, And I think last year, I was paying $270 a month, something like that, as the contribution. So let's say on average, I paid 220, 230 bucks a month, something like that, right? So that ends up to what, like 12 months a year, about what, 3,000? Let's say 2,500, or between 2,500 to 3,000, a year. I was paying this company, essentially, right? So 2,500, let's say 2,500 multiplied by 5 is 12,500. So I paid them about $12,000 to $13,000 over the course of 5 years. Now, in these 5 years, we used this Medishare very well, in fact. So we had first one delivery. One of my kids, he was delivered during his 5 years. So this Medishare essentially covered the cost of OBG visits, the entire of it, and then also the cost of, of course, then the delivery to in the hospital, and then that 1 day, a day and a half that you stay in the hospital to recover, and also for the baby to be under monitoring, right? So the delivery, the hospital thing is a 2-day deal, right? So this particular one was an induced delivery, so it took a little longer. So more than, so I would say about, like, I don't know, slightly more than half a day, like 3/4 of a day was the overall admission and delivery, and then after that going to the other room, to the birthing suite, to the rehab suite, or whatever that is that you stay, for them to monitor the baby for full day, and for the mother also to recover, right? And then we went and we basically checked out. So over a 2-day business. So you can call it a major incident, and I think overall just the hospital part, that the 2 days, it costs us, I think, about $5,000 or $6,000, and then with OBGY another $2,000. Maybe overall $8,000. We covered with this Medishare, and then after that, a couple of years after that, the second or third time that we got COVID, it really bothered my wife. She got very bad cough, so she had to go and visit the doctor often, until it was finally resolved. It was a little complicated, and of course we did we used this Medishare for a bunch of other things. My wife used it for checkups and whole other things. So it was very well used. We used it very well, and but still, I added up, and the entire benefits that we got, the entire reimbursement that we got from this Medishare, and it came up to less than $10,000. Okay, so about like $8,000 for the entire delivery, and then $2,000 maybe for the remaining of the deal during the 5 years that we used it. So again, how much I paid, how much I contributed, was about $13,000. So even with this Medishare, if I did not have them, and if I would have gone to these places, and I would only pay cash. With Medishare, you anyways pay cash, and then you get reimbursed by the Medishare. But had I not paid the contributions, had I not had this plan, I would be still saving money, right? I would be saving $3,000, right? And again, this is the best Medishare right now in the country, okay? And we used it for a major event, right? Major incident. So again, what good is health insurance or a Medishare, even if you have a good ones? Now, of course, you can say I'm young, I don't use my insurance that much. So we are talking generally about younger people, right? Because people who are older, they have Medicare, right? We're talking about people who are younger, middle aged, right? So from this discussion, you can clearly see that insurance, the best of it, the lowest premium, or Medishare, the best of it, they are not really useful for minor events or just major events. That only leaves out the case of catastrophic events, right? So these are a cancer, a heart attack, a stroke, right? Things that people get once in a lifetime, maybe twice, right? If you survive the first time, most people don't won't survive the second time. But these are the catastrophic events, right? For those events, you could say yes. If you wanted to pay cash, if you were admitted for before a heart attack, or you were about to get a heart attack, you had some symptoms, you were admitted to the hospital, and they took care of you. They put you in ICU. You spend a couple of days over there. They may have, and they if they inserted some stents, for example, into your arteries and all. You could say that with cash payment, you would be charged about 20 grams, right? Slightly less, maybe 10 grams. I would say anywhere between 5 grams to 20 grams from what. Yes, sorry. So in that case, I guess you could say that the premiums that you paid were worth it. Uh, you know, uh, but but that is only about the catastrophic events, right? These are the events that happens once every 40 years in your life, right? And like I said, it's going to cost you maybe 20 grants, right? In some cases, if it's going to be ongoing for a few years, of course, it's going to cost you more. So I have to make a couple of points about these catastrophic events, right? So we already kind of addressed the case of minor and just major uh, events, and we're talking about catastrophic events, right? Uh, so if it is something that is going to cost you only 10 or 20 grants, right, and once or twice in your lifetime, then I guess you would be saving towards that in your life, right? Same way that you save for your retirement, you have something for your retirement, you're saving for these as well. And that's how people used to deal with these kind of events, these kind of health events in old days, right? So that's first point. Second, let's say that still this might be something that that is not affordable, but it might be the case that you get into one of these events that it goes on. Some it happens to some people. That they have to go through a certain disease for be it cancer, be it other types of disease, that they have to go through it for a year and a half, or 2 years, so on and so forth. And it's going to cost, even if you pay cash, it's going to cost more than $10,000 or $20,000. That happens. That could be the case. Again, these are once in a lifetime events. So all of these events, let's say cancers, heart attacks, all of these strokes and all, then could we just not put all of them together and have a national coverage towards them, right? Again, we're talking about these, rare events, right? That happens once or twice in everyone's lifetime. Could we not? And it will happen in your lifetime, right? Because everybody dies, so it means that you will will happen to you, right? Uh, at some point. So could we not just have a kind of a national coverage for this, right? And get the profit out of it. I mean, we already have mandatory emergency care, right? It was passed during Reagan's administration. If you go to uh, ER and if they have to treat you, if you are an actual case that needs to be treated in ER, they have to admit you, and if you don't have money, taxpayer essentially is picking up the bill, right? So we already have that, right? So we're already paying for that. So if we cover all of these catastrophic cases and put them under a national coverage, I mean, it wouldn't be our first time, right? Uh, 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 Trying to practice something like this, right? Just a thought, just a thought. Again, this is not conclusive. I'm going to do a little more research. I'm going to only also look at how other countries uh, that have been more successful than us in covering healthcare for their citizens, how they are dealing with these situations. And I'm going to take a look at few statistics as well in terms of the costs in US and what is actually driving them up so high. And then I'm going to make some other videos and then see if God willing we can find some solutions or maybe some suggestions. All right, everybody have a good weekend.